This is online yoga with Via for April 25th, 2020. We're all on stay at home and we're all grateful for the technology that allows us to move together and connect with each other. Just start lying on your back, your knees bent, or your legs could be extended. Although if you have lower back issues, actually bending the knees is helpful, just so you know that. Kathy has a stack of washcloths, which should also be in your toolbox, and she's put them under her head so she's not hyperextending or her chin isn't moving up toward the ceiling. So her cervical spine is neutral. Just stay here and watch your breath. And we're going to do a little bit more breathing later, focused breathing. But right now, I'd like you to start with the vagus nerve reset, which is pretty much always on the agenda early in the class. Bring your hands behind your head, interlace your fingers, and then create a cradle for your occipital ridge, the base of your skull. And without moving anything but your eyeballs, shift your eyeballs to the right. Your eyes can be open or closed. And waiting for an involuntary sigh, yawn, swallow, or gulp. If you're new to this, it may take some practice for your body to listen to the what's happening. So you're moving the nerve in the eyeball to trigger or reset the vagus nerve, which is at the occipital ridge, starts at the occipital ridge. And go ahead and come back to center. And then left. Eyeballs shifting to the left. And wait and breathe. Come back to center. Eyeballs come back to center. And do that 2 more times without my cue. So just shifting the eyeballs to the right, waiting, and then shifting, going back through center, shifting left. If lockdown or anything else is stressing you out, this is a very efficient way to reduce your stress, to flip the switch on your nervous system. And then stop what you're doing, but keep your hands where they are. And we're going to move right into head rumping because it's the same um, shape. Your head, your hands are in the back of your head. And what you do here is press the back or the base of the skull, the back, the occipital ridge, press it into your hands and hold, and then release. And then again, do this. Let's do this 4 more times. Press, hold, keep breathing, and release. And press, hold, release. Let's do one more time. Press, hold, and release. As you continue doing that in class and in your home practice, your neck will start to long for the feeling. That feeling, it creates traction along the cervical vertebra and creates some strength and stability there. We're going to do some breathing on the belly. So from here, go ahead and lie on your belly with your hands crossed, arms crossed in front of you, and just rest your head on your arms. This is called crocodile. It's a resting pose, but we're going to add some breath. Breathing, one of the things I like about non-supine, anything that's not supine when we're breathing, even though a lot of the breathing practices are supine, is that this is an opportunity to breathe into the back of the lungs. So as whatever I'm telling you, think of making your breath move into the back of your lungs. But I want you to do a complete breath here, starting at the belly. So expand the belly, the rib cage, and then come all the way up into the chest, the clavicle. And then exhale and all the way back down, the chest, the belly, no, the rib cage, the belly. And deep, slow breaths. Belly, rib cage, chest, up near the throat. And then return, reverse directions in your mind. And do that a couple more times. This is called a complete yoga breath. So you're breathing into all the locations where breath moves. When you do the breathe into the belly, feel the belly expanding into the floor resisting that actually, which is kind of a lovely way to belly breathe. And then when you breathe into the rib cage, try to expand the back of the rib cage and the back of the lungs. A couple more of those. Dana contacted me this morning. She said she couldn't come, but she will come next week, next Monday. She had some issues she was dealing with. She says hello. Now come on up into a quadruped hands and knees. We're going to do a hypopressive that is from this shape. So the first thing you're going to do is come down onto your elbows and then curl your toes. So the toes are, ankles are dorsiflexed. The elbows, you're down on your elbows and your hands are stacked in front of you. So you create a triangle with your forearms. And from here, you're going to take 3 breaths. So inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. Make them full breaths into the back of the lungs. Last one, inhale and exhale. Hold your breath out, no breath. And I'm going to count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And go ahead and release. We're going to do that one more time. So when you're holding your breath out, you should feel the rib cage expand side to side and feel a belly scoop. Those are involuntary motions, but those are part of that that no breath piece. So go ahead and inhale and exhale. This is work on the core and the pelvic floor. Inhale and exhale. Last one, inhale and exhale. No breath. Hold your breath out, and I'll count to 10. I'm sorry I started so late. You can stop earlier than 10 if you need to. 1, 2, 3. You can go longer. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And go ahead and come into a child's pose just to rest from your quadruped. If this is not a restful pose, try to find a way to make it a resting pose. You could put a brick under your hips or under your head. You can take your knees wide or narrow. From this resting pose, we're going to add on some movement. So go ahead and stretch your arms out so that you feel armpit stretch here. And then take your right hand arm and thread it through your left armpit. Palm up, straight as your arm can be. It should, you know, your chest may get in the way here, but just try to find something and keep the shoulders as even as you can. So the right arm is coming underneath and across, and you should find a nice stretch on the shoulder, the right shoulder. And you can crawl your arm forward a little bit, straighten your arm, crawl it forward a little bit and see. And if this is uncomfortable, you may have to have something to lean your head on if it's uncomfortable for you. So Kathy's going to ask herself that. I don't know whether that's true. Just stay here and breathe. Stretch. This is a nice stretch for the arm, for the right armpit, and the right shoulder and the left armpit. Switch sides. Now you can see what it looks like by looking at the spotlight video. You can see how it looks on the opposite side, from the back side. If it's more comfortable, you can look with your eyes in the direction of your bottom arm. Or you can look the direction of your other arm and see if you can get more of a stretch. So play around with that. What makes sense to you, to your body? And then come back to a child's pose. And we're going to stretch the outside of the right armpit by crawling both arms over to the left. And just you should feel a nice stretch across the latissimus dorsi, which is this muscle that runs along the outside of the back and along the side body, and is often neglected. A nice stretch for picking up helping overhead movement and picking up grandchildren, among other things. Come on back and do the same thing on the other side. So just crawl your arms to the right now. And stretch. And if you drop your armpit a little bit closer to the floor, see if you can get more of a stretch there. And crawl your arm a little bit farther out. Latissimus dorsi. Come on back. And this time I want Kathy to demonstrate using therapy balls at the knees in a child's pose. Now, some of you don't have therapy balls. Use the small ones, Kathy, if you have them nearby. But a really nice calf stretch, and actually calf and thigh opener. Both balls, you're going to need both balls, one for each knee. So look at the balls. I'm going to encourage you. I haven't done this yet in a letter, but an email. But I'm going to encourage you to invest in these balls. I think they're about $15. They're available on both Amazon Max and Amazon US. I do not know about Amazon Canada. So Kathy's putting her balls at the crease behind her knee, and then sitting down on those. And she can either be up or she can be down into a child's pose. Well, whatever's available, right? Might be too much to be down. So if you have therapy balls, or if you have 2 tennis balls, that would work too. Try this. It's a great release and relief for the calves. And also you can see it addresses both tightness in the hamstrings and in the calves. That's my little bonus move and a nudge for you to get these balls. There's lots of things we can do with therapy balls if you have them or if you're willing to invest in them. And come on up. You can remove the balls. And come into a quadruped, and we're going to do a core and balancing movement, quadruped, hands and feet. And it's called bird dog. It's affectionately called bird dog. And if this is hard for you to do because you're gonna take one leg out and one arm in front and one leg the opposite and back, or you can just do one arm and then pause and do the leg. So, but the full pose is, so Kathy's putting her right arm up and her left leg back. Try to keep the hips even and stay here and take some breaths. This is a core work in balancing. You should feel the core activate to accomplish this movement. Remember, if you can't do both of these things at once, just do the arm and then do the leg. Just take your time. Breathe, and then come back and do the other side. Left arm, right leg. Stay here and breathe. Think of your hips as even so that the back leg hip is not riding up. Try to even that up. Even shoulders, even hips, side to side. And come on back down. Do 2 more sets of those. Bird dog. A really nice balancing pose. If you like crawling on the floor, I like crawling. You could intersperse bird dog with crawling. Breathe, remember to breathe. Do one more set. Keep breathing, don't breath, keep breathing. Keep breathing, don't hold your breath. All movement works best if you're not holding your breath. Now, you can drop back into a child's pose if that's helpful for a minute. Then we're going to go into a wrist stretch that we did recently that I really liked. But come into a child's pose and then come in back into quadruped. We're going to do one wrist at a time, starting with your right wrist. Kathy, just take your fingers backwards. Yes. And the first thing you're going to do is fingers only. So keep the palm lifted. And feel the stretch with the fingers. And can you bring your arm a little bit farther forward, Kathy, or no? Not that one, the other one.
Oh, this one.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And now put the palm down. So fingers stretch first and then the wrist. And then if you want to add to this, drop your hips back a little bit and see if you can stretch the front of the forearm. And breathe. And then switch sides. You can shake out your wrist or make circles or something else. This is a little intense for the wrist, but actually very good for anyone who's working on a computer or a phone. So first, just the fingers are stretching, and then eventually drop the palm of the hand. And then if you want to add more stretch, just drop your hips back towards your heels and see if you can find a stretch in the front of the wrist. Breathe. And do one more set of that, right and left. Remember, you can shake your wrist in between. And go ahead and shake both wrists. You can shake both wrists, and then if you want to move away, go ahead and shake both wrists. This is one of the things I actually love to do. Shake your wrists and shake them and keep taking them higher and higher and higher until your arms are straight over your head. And keep shaking the wrists. And then stop and then drop your hands and just feel the energy you've created just by a wrist shake. The next thing in this triplet we're going to do is a plank. And it can be, it can be on your elbows or your hands. So let's start on the hands, and you're going to start in quadruped, and then the right leg goes back, and the left leg goes back, both legs back.
I'm going to have to go on my elbows.
You're going to have to do elbow, okay?
Yeah.
So Kathy's starting on her elbows, but she's still doing the same thing, right leg back, left leg back. And other people can start in their hands or not. So listen to your own body. It's your best teacher. And feel the core work that's required here for you to basically hold your whole body weight up on your elbows or your arms. Just stay here and take some breaths. And you could also be on your knees. So experiment with, do I need to be on my knees? Can I be on my knees and then on my arms? Or do I have to be, on elbows and knees? Or elbows and straight legs? Or hands and straight legs? Just do it for a couple more breaths. And then actually come up to standing, and we're going to just do a plank at the wall. So, find a railing or a counter or a chair that's stable or overstuffed, that won't move on you. And then you're going to be, if it's hard to do a plank on the floor, a plank, a supported plank that has a slightly different angle is going to be easier for you. And then we can move into push-ups as well. But just today, just a plank. What are you going to use, Kathy?
On the closet door.
Okay. Put your hands up on the door and see and walk away. See if you can find a plank. It would be easy. It would be more optimal if she had a counter or something to work on, but she doesn't. And so this is, what about your chair? What about your couch, the side of your couch? Is there?
Try that.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Is there room there? Maybe, maybe not. So in an ideal room, there would be more room between the couch, side of the couch, and the floor for Kathy.
Ain't much. I'm short.
But you can see how this is actually has all the benefits of a plank, of a floor plank, but it's easier for some people, and it's easier to do, and it supports your plank, it supports your core work. Go ahead and find I just thought of adding that as a suggestion for people who found it hard to be on the floor in a floor plank, just to find something else and make your angle a little bit different. Let's go ahead and sit on the floor sit, cross-legged, good posture. Or you could do your favorite. You could do a knee Z, what I'm now calling a knee Z. You could cross your legs. You could stack your knees pointing forward. But whatever you're doing, you're going to find some good posture here. So you're going to sit on your sits bones, not your tailbone, and then open your chest. Maybe you want to bring your hands temporarily into a cactus pose to help find the optimal opening for the front of the body and the back, actually. And from here, we're going to do a spine twist. The most limited spine twist, well, it's going to be the most isolated spine twist. You're going to put your hands in prayer pose and put the tips of your fingers at your chin. So hands in prayer pose, tips of the finger at the chin, and then you're just going to move your rib cage, rotate it to the right as far as you can, and then come back to center and rotate to the left. And return to center. So do this slowly. This is a pure thoracic spine twist. Relax your shoulders. And you're not moving your neck. So you're not, in some spine twists, you either bring your arm back behind you and or you bring your chin over to the shoulder. We're not going to do any of that, just so that we can become totally aware of the thoracic spine twist and see if it gets bigger, because we're going to do a side bend in a minute. So go ahead and do that a couple more times and see how far you can go. Come back to center. And then let your arms, drop your arms to your side. Put your right hand on the floor. You're going to bend your elbow. Put your left hand at your rib cage, like a teapot, the base of your rib cage, and bend your right elbow as you side bend, compress the right side, and open the left side, and try to make it all about a pure side bend. So you're just dropping to the right, bending the right elbow if you need to, probably do. And then slowly come back up. And other side, left hand on the floor. Drop, side bend. So your hips stay on the floor. So the hips do not move. The pelvis does not move. Come on back. One more time. Side bend to the right. Return. Side bend left. Come back to center. And we'll do another spinal rotation. See if the side bending improved the rotation. Palms together, fingertips at the chin, and just move right. Rotate right. Come back to center. Left. Come back. And again. And come on back. Now we're going to do lie on the floor.
Face up or face down?
On our face down, prone, belly, and do the back extension series, which I love to always include. The first thing we're going to do is elbow propping. So just come up onto your elbows. Your elbows are directly underneath your shoulders. You're pressing away from the floor with your elbows and finding a scoop, a kind of a hammock on the thoracic or the upper back, the thoracic spine, the upper back. If this bothers your low back, make it a little smaller. The chest should feel open. And take some big breaths here. This is a really nice breathing station. Breathe into the back of your lungs and the front of your lungs, actually. This little hammock that you've created for yourself here is actually a superior, an uber breathing station. So take advantage of it. And finish up and come down onto the floor with your arms out in a T. But this is a thoracic stretch using the legs. The arms are out in a T, the armpits and the arms stay flat against the floor. And then you're going to lift your right leg a little bit so that it can hover across back behind the left leg. Your hips will move. Or actually, as you get more flexible in your thoracic spine, your hips will move a little more. So one leg comes up, crosses over the other one. Keep the armpits on the floor. So drop your left armpit a little bit, Kathy. If this bothers your lower back, make it a little smaller. Smaller, slower. This is not a fast practice. I'm probably moving you too fast, basically, because I tend to move too fast. Come on back and other leg. I notice Kathy's looking in the direction of the leg that's moving, which is a good idea. Take some breaths here. Feel the, you might feel the stretch in the upper back. If your upper back is really, really tight, you won't feel it for a while, but later you will. Come on back. Repeat, right and left. So if you guys want to do this again, this very practice, this class today, you can, it's recorded and you can download it or view it online. There's a link I give you in my letter. And there's also class notes about the class, although the class notes are subject, don't always match exactly the lesson, the actual lesson. They're an idea I came in with. One more set. This set, this triplet, you could do in your bed before you get out of bed. You'd have to be on roll over on your belly if you're on your back. Elbow propping, thoracic stretch, supine or prone thoracic stretch, and then we're going to do back extension. So finish up. And bring your arms by your hips, palms up. This is the starting position for the back extension. Now, let me say something about, why don't you rest for a minute while I tell you one of the important reasons to do this. As we get older, our bones get thinner. Some of us actually have osteopenia or osteoporosis, and that makes us more subject to fractures. And then we lose our balance, and it makes us lose our sense of balance to some degree, and it makes us more susceptible to falls. Creating strong back extensors, which is what this movement does, can help you avoid falls and avoid compression fractures, even though you have thinning bones. So this is a great movement to include in every practice. Some variation of a back. This is probably one of the best, I think one of the best back extensions. There are others, but this is a good one, a great one. My favorite one. Go ahead and inhale to prepare. And then exhale, lift your chest, your head, and your hands. And stay here and take a couple breaths. See if you can get a little higher if you want. And then inhale to prepare, and then exhale to come back to the floor. We're going to add airplane or T-shape arms to the next move. We're going to add it on. Go ahead and inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift your back, your chest, your arms, your head. Take a few breaths here. See if you can come up a little higher. Unless it hurts your lower back, then make it smaller. Keep it smaller. Take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, bring your arms out in a T, palms facing down. Stay here and take some breaths. Try to come higher if you can without pain. Inhale and exhale. Everything comes back to the floor. Pat yourself on the back. No, don't pat yourself on the back. I'll pat you on the back. This is a very intense move. We're going to do two more sets. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift arms, chest, head. Stay here, take some breaths. Try to get a little higher if you want. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, the arms come out in a T, palms down. And stay here and take some breaths. Get higher if you want, if it's available. Inhale to prepare. Exhale to return. Nice work, everybody. Some of you I can't see, but I'm assuming that your work is good. This can only make you feel stronger here. This move. It's probably one of the most intense ones we do in class. Take an inhale to prepare. And exhale, lift, arms, chest, head. Stay here. Breathe. Come up a little higher if you can. Exhale. Oh, no, inhale again. And then exhale, the arms come out in a T. Airplane. Stay here and breathe. You can bring your chest up a little higher, your back up a little higher if you can. If that works for you. Inhale. And exhale, return. Very nice. Very nice. Roll over onto your back whenever you're ready. Take your time. We're going to do a hug a tree hypopressive now. So your heels are on the floor, your toes are towards the ceiling. Your arms are out in front of your armpits as if you're hugging a tree. And then you flip your hands so they're facing, palms facing ceiling. From here, make your arms active. This is actually a shoulder exercise, shoulder and arm strengthening exercise, as well as a breath, the hypopressive breath work. So to inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale. Hold your breath out. No breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale and exhale. Let's do that one more time. Take your shape. 3 breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Remember, the palms are facing towards the ceiling. Inhale and exhale. Hold your breath out. No breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And relax. Bring your arms straight up above you towards the ceiling, toward the ceiling. Palms facing each other. And this is just a movement of the arm bone. It's called overhead arms. It's pretty common name. You're just going to take an inhale, and then on your exhale, take your arms back by your ears as far as you can go and be comfortable. This is a power position. You can stay here and hold and take some breaths. Hold the position, take some breaths. Arms overhead by the ears, power position. And then come back on an inhale and do this a couple more times. Overhead arms. Inhale. Exhale, the arms go overhead by the ears or as far as you can get without pain or discomfort. Stay here, take some breaths. This is a power position. Feel the power of having your arms overhead like this. And then come on back. One more time, inhale to prepare. And exhale, the arms move overhead. Stay here and breathe. And then return. The last one we're going to do today is rocking figure 4, which is a Kihara resistance stretch movement that is really great for a number of things, including loosening up the hips for lower back and stuff. So remember when in Kihara, every time we're doing resistance, you're always moving and always resisting. And this time you're resisting the elbows, a bend and a straighten is the movement. So Kathy's going to bring her right leg up and cross the left ankle in front of the right ankle in front of the left and hold on behind the left thigh. You can also do this with a strap. Hold on with a strap if you can't reach with your hands. And then what she's going to do is she's going to bend her elbows, both her elbows, and bring her left knee towards her face. So the thigh is coming forward and the elbows are bending. And that's the movement. And then she straightens it. And her head can come up. That adds some core work if it's not uncomfortable on your neck. If you have any neck issues, keep your head down. Rocking figure 4. So pull your left thigh forward, bend your elbows. You should feel the right elbow pressing into the right thigh. And then straighten your arms, and that's the other side of it. So when the right thigh is coming forward, there's some resistance happening there with the elbows. So as the left thigh comes forward, the elbows bend, right? And then release and straighten the elbows. So the rocking part is bend the elbows and then straighten the elbows. And bend. Keep breathing, everyone. And you should feel this. This opens up the hips on both sides in different ways. It's great for sciatica, for releasing any hip tension that is often creating lower back tension. Rocking figure 4, I call it. And switch sides. And it's nice to have Kathy stay in the same position because you can see both sides of this movement. Bend your elbows and then straighten your elbows. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. And you could lift your head, but only if it doesn't hurt. And that adds a little bit of core work. So as your knees come towards you, your head would come towards your knees. So the knees come toward the head comes toward the knees. That's the head work or the neck work if it's available to you. For a lot of people, they have so much tension and fragileness in the neck that it's not a good idea. You have to listen to your own body there. Go ahead and finish up. And then find a comfortable position for Yoga Nidra, 61-point guided meditation, and we'll close the class with that. Your legs can be extended or bent. Your legs could be up on a chair. Your palms are facing toward the ceiling so you can open, externally rotate your shoulders. Just feel comfortable. You may want to put a washcloth over your eyes. You may want to put a blanket over your body. I'm going to guide you through some internal points that I mentioned. Please move your attention to the points. Do not move the body. Starting with your breath, breathing in and breathing out. And observing the abdomen as it rises and falls. Now bring your awareness to the center of your eyebrows, center of your throat, right shoulder, elbow, wrist, right thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, right wrist, elbow, right shoulder, center of your throat, left shoulder, elbow, wrist, left hand thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, left wrist, left elbow, shoulder, center of your throat, spiritual heart center, right side of your chest, heart center, left side of your chest, heart center, navel center, center of your pelvis, right hip, right knee, right ankle, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, right ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, left hip, left knee, ankle, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, left ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, navel center, heart center, center of your throat, center of your eyebrows. This completes the 61-point guided meditation. Go ahead and extend your legs if they're bent. And wiggle and stretch. Try to create arms overhead. So the arms are stretching in one direction, the feet are stretching legs in the other direction. Try to create a little more space between your pelvis and your rib cage. Wiggle the right side and the left side. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Hug your right knee to your chest and then your left. Both knees, hug both knees to the chest. Rock from side to side. And then roll all the way over into fetal position. Put your bend your bottom elbow and rest your head on your bottom elbow. Stay here. And then take your top hand and bring yourself up to seated. This is the safest way to get up from the floor. But you do have to wait, make that pause so you don't get up dizzy. I'm going to unmute everybody. Except maybe Leslie. We'll see if Leslie makes a noise or not. She muted herself. She knows. She knows the problem. Go ahead and let me say, before we say namaste to each other, let me say that stick around afterwards if you want to just make a connection, ask a question, say hello to anybody. After the recording, after the namaste, we'll have some time for that. Bring your hands to your heart. Press your palms together. Nod your occipital ridge. So nod your head forward. And we're going to close the class by saying to each other, namaste.
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 Thank you, everybody.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to pause the record. I stop the recording, but you can hang on if you want.